Zen meditation and the length of telomeres. What's a telomere anyway? I'm going to get into that. Welcome. This is your inner power. Telomeres are a bundle of DNA sequences at the end of your chromosomes. The chromosomes are holding all of the DNA in your every cell. The telomeres act as a buffer because every time our cells divide, we have a chance of damaging the chromosomes. So the telomeres sit at the end of the chromosome tails, and they basically protect it from getting torn, and as cells divide, they get shorter over time. So it goes to show that it's better to have longer telomeres because then our chromosomes are protected for longer, and then cell division and cell activity and behavior are unaffected for longer in life. We stay healthier. Telomere length is linked to type 2 diabetes, hypertension, cancer mortality, and heart disease. Things like that we don't want in life. So whatever process we could have to lengthen the telomeres or to keep them long would be beneficial. This paper, Zen Meditation, Length of Telomeres, and the Role of Experiential Avoidance and Compassion, gets into this in quite detail. This paper gets into how mindfulness and awareness, specifically in Zen meditation in this example, had an effect on the length of telomeres. They compared 20 monks and 20 of their friends and relatives who didn't meditate at all and measured the length of their telomeres and compared the two. The meditation that was done was specifically a mindfulness, an awareness meditation. These Buddhist monks were actually practicing Soto Zen meditation. Soto Zen meditation is basically an awareness practice, and you want to bring your consciousness back to a neutral state, like the state of awareness that a baby has. They are accepting whatever comes to them in a state of non-judgment. So the association with meditation and mindfulness to longer telomeres actually suggests that meditating can prevent illness. Why is that? Well, if we have longer telomeres, then we protect the cells from breaking down. We protect the chromosomes from malfunctioning, and so the cells replicate as they should. With healthy telomeres, we stay healthier for longer. The present data demonstrated that the expert meditators had a significantly longer telomeres as well as lower percentages of short telomeres in their cells than the non-meditator comparison group. The finding extends a small but growing body of literature showing longer telomeres and increases in telomerase related to the practice of mindfulness. The ability to maintain longer telomeres through practicing meditation has many implications on health. The possible pathway between meditation and telomere length seems to be that mindfulness leads to individuals experiencing less stress, anxiety, and depression, which are all thought to be associated with cortisol level, and this association seems to be associated with telomerase activity. Basically, what this is saying is that cortisol level actually affects the length of your telomeres. By breathing properly, we actually lower the cortisol level because we are in a more of a parasympathetic state more often, and so we have less chronic stress, less cortisol. It's as simple as that. This study is one of the first to show that acceptance is related to telomerase length. Undoubtedly, from a cellular perspective, our results strengthen the idea that mental health and behavioral effectiveness are influenced more by how people relate to their thoughts and feelings than by the form of those thoughts or feelings. An example, how negative they are. And that's beautiful. So by people accepting these feelings, just as feelings themselves, being mindful of them, they're lowering their anxiety level about them. And that right there, that I believe to be the key, awareness. The best way that I've found to be aware is to simply practice being aware of my breath. That's the beginning stage of awareness for me, because the breath is something I carry with me all the time. It's something we all carry with us all the time. And that leads us to recognize that we have a tool always to bring us back to awareness. That's the practice. It's not what you're aware of, it's training the mind to be more just aware. And then, from that point, then we can decide how we feel about something. But the thing is, with our mind, it's so erratic that if we are not present with our mind, if we're not mindful of what we're experiencing, we could easily be led down the path of anger, anxiety, tension, and then thereby developing, producing cortisol in our bodies, shortening the telomeres, and having a less healthy life. Of course, when I've been bogged down by anxiety or self-deprecation or really just self-pitying cycles in my life, it's really because I've viewed them as bad. I've really had a lot of there's been a lot of times when I've punished myself for being for failing. And so because I didn't do something like wake up on time, or because I didn't do this, I would punish myself. This was very interesting. Socioeconomic status did not show any relationship with telomere length despite being considered a relevant variable. Now, this was because the monks that were practicing all the meditation, a lot of them swore off all of their worldly possessions and had much lower salaries. They weren't judging their situation, they were just being mindful of it. They weren't striving too hard, they weren't reaching for too much, they were just accepting it. Accepting where we are in life is a lot easier when we are functioning as properly as we could be in that situation, when our mind is the clearest, because our mind decides the decisions we make in a lot of ways. And by lessening the cortisol flowing in our system to begin with, that can help us be more mindful, which is why I'm a huge advocate for coherent breath. The standard breath practice of 5-second inhales and 5-second exhales. It's that one thing that we can do to help us be more mindful, but it's also the tool that can get us to mindfulness. Because as we are going through our day, in traffic, we're late for something, we have bills to pay, just by bringing ourselves back to that 5-second breath, everything becomes a lot more centered, we become more grounded, and we're a lot less anxious about the future or the past. And that tool is right there with us all the time. It's really exciting that papers that are scientific papers that are scientific, are coming out and acknowledging mindfulness and these principles that have to do with an elusive interaction with the mind and the rest of the body. We are nowhere near understanding what that is. It's still very elusive. There's still so many unanswered questions, but it is encouraging that we are moving into the direction and acknowledging that it's not always something functional and physical that affects our functional and our physical lives. So take that away with you and do with that what you will. Breathe slow, live deeply, and live powerfully. Thank you so much. Love you.